Good morning, friends. Welcome to our first of these live videos in this one and done weight loss group. So today I'm talking about something that relates to what I talked about last night. So last night I was talking about coping skills I had developed growing up in in an unhealthy home, and I just kind of want to dig into that a little bit more because I think it's really important. I know in my path to transformation, that idea of people pleasing was a massive obstacle for me because it really prevented me for a long time from taking the steps I needed to take for me. So just a little bit more background on it. Some of the dysfunction that was happening in my home had a lot to do with, there was a lot of screaming and yelling that would happen. And so for little Sarah to try and ameliorate that, to try and calm all of that down, I discovered that, or I thought I discovered that I could control it. And the control aspect for me, it was both internal and external. So internally, I would control it by being hyper aware of everybody else's emotions in my house. And then externally, that would show up by me actively trying to accommodate people. So it could be anything as simple as, oh, let me go pick this up, or, oh, look, I did the dishes, everything's good, everything's fine. And so that was the lesson that I learned, is I actually had a massive control of people's emotions around me, regardless of whether that was actually true or not. And so you might think that, oh, people please, well, you must be really nice to be around. One would think that. Unfortunately, there is a dark side to all of this people pleasing. And the main dark side is it came attached with it expectation. So my expectation then became, if I do these things to help manage your emotions, then you should reciprocate back to me and take care of my emotions. So what that effectively does is Sarah exits her body, she exits her needs to help somebody else, and then she's hoping that that person or anybody else will come back and take care of her needs. And of course, you can imagine that that has a lot of problems with it because they don't know that I'm expecting that. And so as a result, if I didn't get my feelings taken care of by others, it was easy for me to get angry and resentful, and ultimately really quite hurt. But the problem is the anger would show up as not this explosive rage, but as this quiet internal seething where I'd be angry at somebody and they wouldn't even realize I was mad at them. And so at my unhealthiest, unfortunately, this turned into me doing this for not just my close family and friends, but anybody. I mean, if there's anybody on the street that needs something, even if it wasn't my place to provide that help, I would jump in and try and help because there was just not enough love in the world for me because I couldn't love myself at that point. And so to sum all of this up, the problem with this is it made my relationships transactional, is what it did. And a transactional relationship's not a fun thing to be in. So as I began to grow and learn, though, and become self-aware, I discovered that I could actually do things on my own terms. I could do things because I wanted to do them, not because I felt obligated to do them, which was a massive shift for me. I also felt, I discovered that it is possible for me to feel okay saying no to people. It is possible. It doesn't feel great, but it's initially, but it's possible. It's possible to say no and feel great about it. I also realized what a gift my own attention was. That those points where I was needing the most from other people were actually the points where I needed to be turned most towards myself. And then finally, you know, we always talk about some of our greatest, I've talked a lot about that Rumi quote, the wound is where the light enters us, but some of our greatest gifts come from our greatest obstacles. And the gift that I found is that I can be very in tune with other people's emotions. I'm not saying I always know exactly what they're feeling, but I'm pretty in tune with it. And when I married that with healthy boundaries, then that becomes a superpower, becomes a gift. And I think the reason that I was drawn to coaching, even in my younger days, just coaching kids in sports, it's because I knew I could relate to them. And as long as I had healthy boundaries, hey, Hannah, as long as I had healthy boundaries, I could affect a lot of good change for them and also continue my own growth as a result of that. And so what I began in order to achieve this, though, to be able to build these healthy boundaries and know myself and know when I'm not feeling good about agreeing to something, I began by first taking note of every time I agreed to something, but I didn't actually want to do it. And for me, that shows up as a feeling in my body. Like I can feel it internally. I can feel like a gripping in my stomach. Sometimes I can feel my heart kind of feeling constricted. And so it wasn't easy at first. For a long time, it was basically just me watching a train wreck. Like me witnessing like, oh, there goes Sarah again, saying yes to something she doesn't want to do. Good job. And of course, that's a whole nother conversation about my own inner critic being that sarcastic. But what I did everything that I could. And so at points, what that meant was I had to watch it happen. I had to agree to the thing I didn't want to agree to. And then later on, when I was journaling or self-reflecting, I would do a redo. And I would sit down and say, okay, that person asked me to do this. These are the reasons I didn't want to do it. How could I say no to them? If I could redo that conversation, how could I say no to them, but say no both authentically and lovingly? Because I can also tell you at some points it swung the opposite way, and someone would be like, hey, Sarah, could you open the door? No, I can't open the door. Never ask me again. And that's when it's like, whoa, whoa, calm down. Too good of boundaries, right? But there's always a middle road. And I just want to encourage you, if you're working on something like this, just be gentle with yourself. That pendulum, it'll swing before it rights itself back to center. And so I confess this is still a daily practice for me. I still have moments where I have to do redos, and I still, I don't always feel great saying no. I can also say, though, there are times where I feel so proud of myself and I feel great about saying no, and then I can also see the end results of how me saying no set that person up for a better situation than if I had just sort of sacrificed myself on my own obligation and did it. They were able to find either the help they needed somewhere else, or they could help themselves better than I could help them. So there's always a path. There's always a path to self-discovery and greater things when we're willing to. Yes, Hannah, I know you do, girl. I feel you too. But yeah, there's always growth where our greatest pain is, friends. So I encourage you with that. So that's my big share for today. Please comment below if you've got experience with this as well. I will either see you at the gym or I will see you online. I hope you have a wonderful Monday. Take care. Bye, Hannah. Have a great day.